Hello, boys and girls, and how are my students from Poughkeepsie Middle School? Well, here I am in the Catskill Mountains again, and we've talked a lot about invasive species. I wanted to discuss a native organism, also called an indigenous organism, and that is the wood turtle. I'm out here around 8 o'clock in the morning, and what have I discovered after a middle spring rain? I've discovered a wood turtle. And now wood turtles are indigenous to the Catskill forest. And here we have a wood turtle right here. So let's look at this wood turtle very carefully. And they call it a wood turtle because it lives in the semi-forest. I'm going to lift it up. It's got plenty of flies on it. I don't know exactly why. Okay, it looks like he was eating something he's hidden in. These wood turtles are also called red legs. Why? Because if you look very closely at their tail and their legs, it's got spots on it, and they're red. Wood turtles are a threatened species. What does that mean? It means that there's not many of them around, and it's not wise to collect them because they are threatened species. They do require a lot of care in an artificial environment, so it's best that you leave them. When you see a wood turtle, you leave it alone. Okay? The reason why I'm filming it is obviously to show you. If you lift up the turtle again, you could tell the sex of the turtle by looking at the underneath of the plasteron. Do you see that indenture? That means that it is a male turtle, because male turtles have a indenture on the underneath of their plasteron. Okay, when they mount the female, they mount him on top like this, and that's why they have that indenture, that concave plasteron. And that's how we know it is a male. The females have a rounded plasteron. This is concave. So again, here is our wood turtle, and we're going to see how he looks like when his head pops out. So I'm going to leave him on the ground, and we're going to wait to see his head pop out so you can get a good idea of exactly what a wood turtle looks like. But if you look at it closely, you can see it has had some damage to it, probably by some dog that tried to chew into it and break its shell. If you look closely, the head is now popping out of the wood turtle. Okay? So here is a wood turtle. He's got a slug in his mouth. So wood turtles eat slugs. They like slugs. They like berries and strawberries, cucumbers, things like that. They are omnivorous. What does omnivorous mean? They eat a variety of foods, both animals and plant. They are scavengers as well, so they can eat dead organisms. That's what a scavenger does. So here's his mouth, and you can see that slug hanging out from his mouth. So he's been around for quite some time, and they're out around now in this time, May and June. You see them a lot because they're mating. And also the females are looking for a nest site in order to reproduce. So this male is probably roaming around looking for a mate, and doesn't seem like it's found one. But you could, any questions, boys and girls? Okay, so this is our first turtle that is indigenous to the area. Indigenous means native to the area. We do have turtles that are not native, and they are invasive, and we will be looking at an invasive species of turtle in a moment. Okay, boys and girls, I'm walking around again in a late May morning, and here we have another turtle, another native turtle. Now, if you look closely at this turtle, it's called a spotted turtle, a yellow spotted turtle. And here he is moving around, going about his business, probably looking for a mate or an area to lay eggs. So we're going to pick him up. We're going to see exactly how he looks like. And he doesn't appear to be very shy. Now, he's a lot smaller than the wood turtle. He's about a quarter of the size of a wood turtle. And they are often found by slow-moving creeks and water areas, riparian areas. And they are rare again. And they are not to be collected because they are rare. People collect them. They don't know how to take care of them. They end up dying. And then the species ends. That's how the species of an organism gets endangered, when people collect them and don't know how to take care of them. So here I have my yellow spotted turtle. If you look closely, you could see the yellow spots on its head. You could see the yellow spots on its legs. And the plasteron's got many, many yellow spots. Now, we're going to turn to the bottom of the plasteron and see if it's a male or female. What do you think it might be? So everybody make an educated guess. Looking at the plasteron, it is concave, slightly concave. So that gives you a clue as to what gender this turtle is. If you said that this gender is a female, you are incorrect. It is a male. That concave plasteron indicates that it when it sits on the female to inject its sperm, it mounts the female. So it's like that. And that gives you the identity of what gender it is. Concave disc on the underside of the plasteron, it is a male. So we're going to let this spotted turtle go. Remember, they are endangered species, and we are not allowed to have them. Okay. And there he goes, going about his business, probably going back into the wet areas, looking for a creek to go in. I may help him find that creek or pond, body of water where he spends most of his time. So these are not found in dry areas. They're found in the valleys of the Catskill Mountains by creeks and streams and ponds. Goodbye, yellow spotted turtle. Okay, boys and girls, here we are returning to our solar pit greenhouse, which I discussed with you in my earlier series, early spring series. We are in mid-spring, and as you can see, everything is starting to get overgrown. The ivy, the hybrid tea roses, they're all, wow, what is that noise? Oh, wow, we have a little frog in here. Okay, also, we have, if we come closely, we can see that we have a turtle. Now, what kind of turtle is this? This is a pond slider, and they are from the south. They are actually an invasive type of turtle, the red-eared pond sliders. So they are sold as pets, and that's why I have it in my solar pit greenhouse. Okay, it is a invasive species. They're migrating from south to north. Why do you think they're migrating from the south to the north? Well, the north, New York, is getting warmer because of global climate change. And because of that, these turtles are moving with the temperature. So here is our red-eared slider. He's quite old. I did get him from somebody that was giving it away. As you can see, looking at the underside of the plasteron, it is not concave. So that gives you a clue as to what gender this red-eared pond slider is. Looking at the underside again, I want you to make an educated guess. Do you think it's a male or do you think it is a female? If you said male, you were incorrect. This is a female red-eared slider. Okay? Now, red-eared sliders eat goldfish. I have a lot of goldfish in it. They eat quite many different types of fish. They are, again, omnivorous, just like most turtles. They do get to be bigger. I have a larger one in here that just jumped into this pool over here. But we're going to see it come out, and you can see the red sides, and that's why they call it a red-eared slider, because on the head, on each side of the head, you'll see a red stripe. And the only way to see that is if I put it down, because they are quite stressed when you pick them up. They like to keep to themselves in my greenhouse. So I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to see the head come out. Just give it a moment. Give it some time. And while we're waiting, we could talk about the turtles. Now, turtles are relics of the dinosaur age. They are the survivors of the ancient dinosaurs. They were a lot larger in the past during the age of the reptiles, and they have become smaller since, I would guess, some adaptive radiations or during the great extinction that occurred millions of years ago. But they still remain, and that adaptation, that hard shell, is advantageous to them because that is a protective coating, and that is part of their body. The shell is part of their body. In other words, if you break the shell, you're breaking part of the flesh of the turtle. The backbone is attached to that shell. So you could probably think of the shell as an enlarged backbone that wraps around the whole turtle. So you can never take the turtle away from its shell because the backbone, the vertebrae, is attached to the shell. Okay. Hello, boys and girls. I just pulled out another pond slider. I have two pond sliders. Okay? So here's the larger one. I got this when it was a baby, and it's huge now. Okay? Because it loves all that goldfish I've been giving it. If you see the head come out, you see the red sides, and that's how you identify the turtle as a red-eared slider. Why do they call it a red-eared slider? Because it slides right into the pond if it's under any type of stress, or if it signals, if it feels any type of stressful situation like a loud noise, it jumps immediately into its habitat and falls right into that pond. In the spring, they hang out on logs. In early spring, what is that habit called when they hang out in the spring on logs? It's called basking. They like to bask in the sun, pond sliders, and they do that often. So this turtle is about, I would say, at least 10 years old. Now we're going to lift up the underside, and we're going to find out if it is a male or female. Can you tell me, based on the lack of concaveness of the underneath of the plastron, you could tell whether it's a male or female? So if you guess that this was a female, you are correct. It is a female pond slider, okay? And it's quite huge, weighs about 3 pounds. And again, pond sliders are from the south, and they're slowly making their way to New York. They're found in all of the ponds in Central Park, New York City. They're found quite often there because a lot of people let them go, and they've been reproducing there for a long time, many years. So they are found in Central Park, and they are an invasive species of turtle. Now, I wouldn't want to kill this turtle regardless of whether it's invasive or not, because obviously I'm a fan of turtles. Okay? So we're going to put this turtle right here, and you're going to observe it just jump out of its shell, jump with its shell, and go back to its watery habitat. So see the head come out? And there we go. He's moving right in. There we go. And that's it for our red-eared slider. That's why they call them red-eared slider, because they jump right into that pond. They slide right into that water. Okay, boys and girls, so we've looked at 3 species of turtles. We looked at the wood turtle, which is indigenous. We looked at the yellow-spotted turtle, which is also indigenous. And we looked at the red-eared slider, which is a non-native species. Thank you, boys and girls. Any questions? I thought so. Again, no questions. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.